Welcome back to AI Podcast, everyone. Today we're kicking off a three-part series.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and this one's going to take us deep into the world of AI in warfare,
Wow.
specifically autonomous weapons.
Oh, okay.
It's a future that's rapidly becoming our present, and frankly, it's a bit unnerving
Yeah.
to think about machines making life-or-death decisions on the battlefield.
It's definitely a complex issue and one that raises a lot of important questions. But
For sure.
before we dive into the ethics and the potential risks, I think it's helpful to understand how we got here.
Okay.
The idea of autonomous weapons may seem like something out of science fiction,
Right.
but the reality is that we've been on this path for a surprisingly long time.
Okay, so let's rewind the historical tape.
Okay.
Where do we even begin with autonomous weapons? I mean, is this really a new thing?
Well, you might be surprised to learn that some of the earliest examples date back to World War II.
Really?
Yeah, those German V-1 and V-2 rockets,
Oh, yeah.
while rudimentary by today's standards, were essentially unmanned bombs. Capable of flying hundreds of miles to hit their targets, they were a precursor to the cruise missiles we see today.
That's interesting.
And a very early example of taking the human element out of the equation, at least in part.
That's a great point. I think we often forget about the historical context when we talk about these cutting-edge technologies.
Yeah.
So from those early rockets, how did things progress?
During the Cold War, we saw the development of semi-automated systems like the U.S. Navy's Aegis combat system,
Okay.
which uses powerful computers and radar to track and engage enemy aircraft and missiles.
Right.
Now, it still relies on human operators to make the final call,
Yeah.
but it can react much faster than any human could on their own, demonstrating that shift toward increasing machine involvement.
So more responsibility being handed over to machines,
Right.
even if they're still human in the loop.
Yeah.
But how did we get from those systems to the truly autonomous weapons we're seeing today?
The real game changer has been the rise of artificial intelligence,
Mm.
particularly machine learning and computer vision. Okay, think about it this way. Machine learning allows AI systems to analyze massive amounts of data and learn from it,
Okay.
identifying patterns and making predictions.
Gotcha.
And computer vision enables those systems to see and interpret the world around them, just like we do, but often with even greater precision and speed.
So it's the combination of these AI capabilities that's enabling the development of truly autonomous weapons.
Yeah.
Can you give us some concrete examples of how this is playing out on the battlefield?
Absolutely. One of the most striking examples is the development of loitering munitions,
Okay.
sometimes called kamikaze drones.
Wow, I've read about those.
These are essentially drones that can loiter over a battlefield for extended periods, searching for specific targets using computer vision.
Right.
When they identify a target, they can decide to attack autonomously without any human intervention.
It's pretty unsettling to think about a machine making those kinds of life or death decisions.
Yeah.
Are those systems actually being used right now?
Yes, they are. Israel's Harop and Russia's Lancet are two examples of loitering munitions that have been deployed in recent conflicts.
Wow.
And they're just the tip of the iceberg. AI is also being integrated into more traditional drone platforms like the MQ-9 Reaper,
Right.
which can already perform reconnaissance, target identification, and even airstrikes with minimal human oversight.
Okay, so AI is not just enabling new types of autonomous weapons, it's also making existing weapon systems more autonomous.
Exactly.
But how is AI actually being used in targeting? I mean, how can a machine tell a combatant from a civilian, for example?
That's where computer vision comes in. AI systems are being trained on vast data sets of images and videos,
Right.
learning to recognize objects, distinguish between different types of vehicles and weaponry, and even identify individuals based on their facial features or gait.
That's incredible and a little scary, to be honest. It's like something straight out of a science fiction film.
It does feel that way sometimes, and the implications are profound. AI-powered targeting systems could, in theory, reduce civilian casualties and collateral damage by improving the accuracy of attacks.
Yeah.
But there are also serious concerns about bias in the data used to train these systems and the potential for unintended consequences.
That's a critical point.
Mm.
We can't just assume that AI will always make the right decision, especially in the complex and chaotic environment of a battlefield.
Right.
But I want to shift gears for a moment and talk about the global AI arms race.
Sure.
It seems like every country's trying to get ahead in this technology.
Right.
What does the current landscape look like?
It's definitely a high-stakes competition with major geopolitical implications. The U.S. is heavily invested in AI research and development, with the Pentagon's Joint Artificial Intelligence Center leading the charge.
Right.
China is also making significant strides integrating AI into everything from drones and tanks to their battlefield intelligence systems.
Hmm.
And Russia is not far behind, actively testing autonomous weapons systems and incorporating AI into their electronic warfare tactics.
So it's the usual suspects.
Yeah.
But are there any other players we should be watching?
Definitely, Turkey and Israel have emerged as leaders in AI-powered drone warfare, developing and selling some of the most advanced UAVs on the international market. It's really a global phenomenon, and the pace of development is only accelerating.
It's a lot to take in and really does feel like we're on the cusp of a new era of warfare.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest question on everyone's mind is this. Should we be letting AI decide who lives and dies on the battlefield? Is that a line we're willing to cross?
That's the fundamental ethical question, and there are no easy answers. We'll be exploring that question in more depth in the next 2 episodes,
Okay.
as we look at the potential benefits and risks of AI in warfare and the ethical considerations we need to be grappling with as this technology continues to evolve.
I'm looking forward to diving into those topics. But for now, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a reminder that part 2 of this series will drop on Monday, where we'll be exploring the use of AI in hacking and misinformation campaigns. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Until then, thanks for joining us on AI Podcast.